Hello, everybody. This is Don Markland with Accountability Now, and welcome to the Morning Jolt, where we give you small tidbits of data, information, and inspiration to make better decisions today. It's a tactical podcast about making today better today. I'm sure all of you have heard of this concept about being a data-based organization or a data-driven leader or a team, a data-driven individual, right? I mean, who hasn't heard of that? This type of commentary, it's been going around. It's almost like a buzzword right now. And with that, I'm seeing so many people in my coaching practice and for sure in the businesses that I work in, they love calling themselves data-driven. And I'm learning or seeing that in their habits or in the way that they work, they're actually far from data-driven. They couldn't be farther from that. They're almost masquerading as data-driven. And so what I want to talk about today is a couple of red flags that you should be paying attention to. That if you do one of these two things or both of them, you are not data-driven. And you need to reevaluate how you approach being data-centric in your organization. But I want to give you, to be data-driven, I want to give you a couple of statistics to show you why being data-driven is so important. Almost 9 out of 10 organizations, it is very important, if not critical, to have data at the very core of their business strategy, right? When they have data in their strategy, it makes them successful, 9 out of 10. Okay, but almost half of those fail to routinely use data to guide their business decisions. So in this survey, this was done by Harvard Business Review, 9 out of 10 organizations have shown that business data is essential to them being successful, but half of them fail to use it effectively. So let that sink in. That's how important it is. And you cannot masquerade as a data-driven organization. So here are the two red flags that I want you to pay attention to and see if you're falling victim to. This could be true if you're an individual, a team, or an entire organization. The first one is you have your own version of truth, or your company or your team has its own version of truth. If reporting isn't focused in one central location where everyone can trust it, then people start to create factions of reports or reporting mechanisms that output their own version of, quote, the truth. So when people try to represent accountability to metrics, either good or bad, and they try to show what they have, or then people try to spend all their time and energy explaining where they got their data or where they got their information or its validity rather than actual performance. You need to find one version of truth and stick to it. Whatever it is, have everyone on the team or in the organization agree that what is in this piece of reporting is truth, and everyone stick to it. I remember when I was starting out in sales, this is confessional here, but I was really bad at tracking data. I wrote things down on scraps of paper if I was lucky, and most of the time I just tried to remember them in my head. I was terrible. Countless times I forgot to log my closed sales in what's called a CRM. That's the Customer Relationship Manager, which housed all of our deals. And when it would come commission time, my checks would come up a little bit short, and I would have to go to my manager. Her name was Kim. And I would complain to her. I'd say, Kim, my paycheck is short. I had all of these deals that aren't on there. And Kim would say to me, Don, let's go into the CRM and see. And we'd go into the CRM, and my deals, sure enough, wouldn't be in there. And I would complain. I'd say, no, I closed this one and this one and this one. And she would look me dead in the eye and say, Don, if it isn't in the CRM, it didn't happen. That is the source of truth. And, I was a big whiny baby, and I would complain and show all these deals that I made and be frustrated, and she would repeat. If it didn't happen in the CRM, if it's not in there, it didn't happen. That is the source of truth. And it took me years to understand that lesson, not to mention thousands of lost commissions. But Kim was right. You have to have a source of truth, and you have to stick to it. That's not just for sales. That's for operations, customer service. Everybody has to have a source of truth, and you have to stick to it. You have to obsess over that. If people are disagreeing on the source of truth, work it out together. Find it. Make sure the data agrees. Do the work necessary to make sure the data lines up. Agree to it. And then make that your truth. Make that your Bible. That will solve so much of your problems, your data integrity problems. And it will help your organization become more data-centric, I promise. Secondly, individuals are making decisions prior to data and then finding the data to support what they originally thought. I remember it was famously stated by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in his book about Sherlock Holmes. You'll all remember this. Sherlock Holmes said, "Neither theorize before you have data. Invariably, you end up twisting facts to suit your theory instead of theories to suit facts." I love that. You can't have a theory before you get the data. You have to get the data first. Otherwise, you shift it. You change the data to support what you originally thought. And I'll be honest here, and this might sound a little cruel, but when you do it the other way, when you get your hypothesis first, and then you get the data to support it, in many ways, that's a form of gaslighting. You cannot do that. Don't fall victim to that. Don't come up with your decisions and then get data to support it. Look at the data objectively and then make decisions. And I know it's hard. We get emotional. We get emotionally tied to our business. We get emotionally tied to our data. And we want certain things to be true. If you're too emotionally connected to it, get data scientists. Get objective people to look at your information and your data and tell you what it says first so that you can make decisions based on that. I know it's not easy, but you can do it. I know you can. These two things will help shape your team, your company, and you as an individual. If you can break those habits, break these red flags, and be more data-centric, you will grow, you will move faster, and you will be better. I'm confident of it. If you want more content, first, please like and subscribe to this podcast. You can do it on Apple, on Spotify. You can follow me on Forbes. I have a new article coming out in 2 weeks. You can follow me on Twitter @DonMarkland or on Instagram, executivecoach.don. You can go to my website, accountabilitynow.net. You can get your own free ebook on there about how to change your business and change your life. You can also check out my website or my company, the #1 digital marketing agency in the world, 411 Locals. And folks, this is your Morning Jolt.